So, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Personally, this movie it kind of sits in a weird place for me mentally. Like, I don't know if I like it or just think it's the most amazing thing, or whether or not it's just a bottom tier mid. But personally, I did enjoy the entire watch. Like, I was focused throughout the movie. I thought it was interesting, but my opinion on it is honestly, I don't know. Like, I literally don't know where to place this movie as far as like where I think of it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not as eye catching as some of the older installments in the Bayverse, if I can even call this a Bayverse movie. Like, they use similar nods and similar visual beats from the Bayverse as far as like the Transformers overall look. One prominent example being obviously Bumblebee, my favorite and the most goated Transformer and Autobot of all of Cybertron. Fight with your mother like I did last night. But anyway, let's get into it. And obviously, the lesser example is obviously Optimus Prime's voice and face. Now, clearly, honestly, you can't really go wrong as far as like Optimus Prime's aesthetic, at least for me. Like, there's a few people who don't like the more later installments of Optimus. Hey, look, I like the pectoral Optimus look. I do. I like it. I may be in the minority, but I don't really mind it. It's whatever to me. But yeah, let's continue. And it's probably why I don't know how to rank it, because it feels like a Bayverse Transformers movie, but at the same time, I don't know. I think he was part of this movie, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that does play a part in it, at least as far as like what I can get from it. Like, seriously, don't at me on that information though, but let's get on to it. Now, obviously, per modern day interpretation of Transformers and their human protagonists, we have a more ethnically diverse cast. We have an African American woman and a Latina, I believe, male lead. And honestly, the human characters, at least for my taste and for my liking, I think are interesting to say the least. Like, they have actually an important reason in existing in the plot of one of these more grandiose scale events than other characters, i.e. Sam Witwicky, and them forcing the importance of his character throughout the Bayverse. It's just been interesting to say the least, like, but okay. And also, I like the fact that our main lead is a soldier, a person who is experienced in the thrill of war and battle and violence and destruction, things of that nature. So, like, it actually makes more sense why he's more capable than the other protagonists who are more human-based or carbon-based. The timing of the movie, as in like the time frame and when it takes place as far as like the timeline, is whatever to me. I feel like it was just an excuse to push more, plot into the movie, which is whatever to me. The comedy in this movie, I'm not gonna lie, it was literally not there. Like, I know there were things that people find funny as subjective, but honestly, this was just not funny. And I don't think it was like the main focus of the movie. So yeah, I get why the jokes weren't exactly hitting my chuckles, so to speak, but still, yeah, didn't even bother. This could just be a personal thing, but I don't like the fact that there was barely any mention of the Autobots experience on Cybertron or any real delving into Optimus Primal and his backstory. I feel like it was like to the point, and maybe if it was like a more gradual thing, I wouldn't really mind it. If it was more like seeded throughout the story, it would have been fine, which it is seeded throughout the story, but not really much to where you can actually sink your teeth into. Like, they mentioned the fact that he was named after Optimus Prime, involving the time travel elements of it all. But we get basically nothing when it comes to the other primals or maximals, whatever the heck. So they kind of just feel like they're just there to add more fluff to the CGI budget, personally. And now let's get into the villains. Oh yes, Scourge, one of Unicron's top creations and lieutenants of his little cult, let's just call it. Easily probably one of the best things about this movie. Like, bro, Megatron who? Because this guy is like that. This guy is literally Himatron. Like, I cannot even explain this. Like, he feels like how villains should. He's threatening, he's menacing, and again, they don't try to make him overly sympathetic. They just have a villain that is what he says he is. A quite literal force of nature, destruction, incarnate, given shape, given Cybertronian light. Bro, it's crazy. And even the banter that he has with Optimus is honestly interesting, because you wouldn't even think he would even need to dig in those type of wounds. He was like, oh, this is what you call a prime? Honestly, Primus would be disappointed, disgusted. I spit on you. I tweet. Trash. I do think some of the plot decisions are kind of stupid, and some of the plot convenient situations that happen in the story is also interesting. And one example is obviously the murder of Killer Bee. What the fuck? Bee, really. The murder of Bumblebee in this movie, it's just kind of weird. It's just, yeah. So obviously he doesn't die, because even in the trailer, there are scenes that obviously take place after certain events. So even with that, I'm just like, okay, okay. So we're just gonna do this just for manufactured drama, quite literally. Like, do you, I guess. Another example is the victory over Scourge that what the hell is wrong with me? Another example is the victory over Scourge that Optimus Prime finally got, and he got his pound of flesh, so to speak, when it came to retribution for the murder of Bumblebee. And I'm like, I will be fine if we see Optimus Prime showing any real signs of being wounded or anything like that. He just won. He was losing clearly, and then he won with the help of human interference or human error, which is, it's fine. I wouldn't mind it, but it's just the way he overpowers him. It's just we saw in the beginning of their first scuffle, Optimus Prime was nothing to this man's Scourge, less than nothing. It was incredible. He literally said impossible. It's crazy to me. So now you get the dub. I don't know. It's weird. Other than that, I think Unicron is interesting. I think it's pretty much what you come to expect when it comes to Unicron. If you know anything about the greater lore behind Unicron, sure. Unicron is essentially Robot Galactus. No, there is no exaggeration here. That is literally what he is. He eats worlds to sustain himself. He's just Cybertronian, I think, or at least the same species of Transformer as Hey, quick little editor's note. So Unicron and Primus are actually twin brothers. So that by extension makes every single one of the Maximals, Autobots, Decepticons, and Predacons all part of the giant same family of, Cybertronians. So that's just interesting to me. Scourge and the other Cybertronians that we are more accustomed to, whether it be your Megatrons or your Cybertronian soldier grunt failed assignment, whatever, janitor. You get the point that I'm trying to make. Other than that, yeah, it was just a pretty okay movie. It wasn't too exciting. It wasn't too boring. It was just kind of literally mid. And mid just means mediocre, which is fine. I don't think every movie is going to be an amazing, life-defining movie that you can watch and learn something more from it. And you know what I mean? I think it's just a nice movie to sit down with the family with. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of the same how I feel about most other Transformers. I would have to rewatch the entire franchise to get my more interesting takes on that, but that's just kind of how I feel about the Transformers itself. So yeah, other than that, it was a good movie. That's just how I feel about it. Other than that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.